Well, welcome back to the Food and Drink Business Podcast live stream of interviews being recorded on the exhibition floor here at Food Pro 2023. And as with all the other interviews we've done so far, sponsored by TriMat Systems. Kim Berry back in the hot seat.
Hello.
Hey,
I'm on the highway this afternoon.
Yeah, I know. Did you even get out of the hot seat?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I know.
Straight from one to the other.
That's exactly
That's
right.
us.
Today,
Highway.
or this session,
Highway.
I should say. What?
You're on a highway. Where's the
don't know.
highway go to from Melbourne? Gippsland.
So well done.
I know, right? I've been waiting to do that all week, right?
Have really?
Yeah, try the veal.
Well, off that terribly bad segue.
Yep.
We have Ben Gebert from Food and Fibre Gippsland and Nicole McNaughton from Food and Agribusiness Network, or known as FAN, which is up on the Sunshine Coast. Beautiful country. Hello, you two.
G'day.
We were actually gas bagging, and I went, this needs to go on it. Why are we talking here?
I
Come and
know.
sit behind a microphone.
I was
It'll be much
watching
better.
folks standing out there and going, okay, this is great, but where are our guests? Oh, they're our guests. Wait a minute.
Just having a great chat.
Why are we not recording this?
I know. So I think probably best for our viewers, listeners, Ben, tell us, give us the potted version of Food and Fibre.
Sure. So Food and Fibre Gippsland is an industry cluster organisation based in the Gippsland region of Victoria. So pretty much everything east of Melbourne or Pakenham, the outer suburbs of Melbourne, through to the New South Wales border.
Oh,
It's an
okay, that's a
area-
big area.
It is quite, yes, roughly the size of Denmark or the Netherlands, if you were to look at it from an overall coverage perspective.
Yep.
And Food and Fibre Gippsland is the peak representative and advocacy body for the broader food and fibre value chain, which in the Gippsland region is about a $7 billion value chain.
I was going to say, the Gippsland region for food and beverage, for milk,
Yes,
huge.
it is. Yeah, and it's a really diverse industry portfolio as a region. We hold a really diverse portfolio. Everything from small scale production of mushrooms through to large scale horticulture, beef, sheep production, fibre production, forestry,
Right.
You name it, and dairy.
Yeah.
Roughly 23% of the national dairy volume.
Yeah, so almost a quarter of the country's dairy comes out of Gippsland. Amazing. And Nicole, FAN.
Yes, so we're from the Sunshine Coast. I'm from the Food and Agribusiness Network. We too are an industry cluster based in southeast Queensland, and our role as an industry cluster is to really bring our members together. Traditionally, most of them are SMEs, and work with them to help our members and our industry grow. So, like Ben, incredibly diverse. Our members are across the whole food value chain. So it means that my pantry is incredibly well stocked with lots of very delicious tea, coffee, beverages, artisan products.
Yeah.
But we are very much about being that conduit of connections for our members and work with a lot of key stakeholders to make activities happen.
Yeah. And Grant, I was up on the Sunshine Coast,
Slumming it, I'm sure.
courtesy of
Oh,
FAN,
yes.
2 years away for their Meet the Makers program.
Yes.
And it was probably the first time I'd been to Queensland where I went, I like it here.
Thank you.
Oh.
And but yeah, the caliber of producers and manufacturers was incredible. But there was also a really strong sense of not just a region, but this sort of collegiate. We're all in this. Like even if you're making a cheese or a yogurt, or you're making a plant-based product or chocolate, there was this very big sense of, I know this, I've learnt this, or I know about this, or I have a supplier coming from there, and the willingness to share that information to each other through that network of what Food and Fibre and what FAN represent was real tangible. It's really kind of inspiring and encouraging if we're looking down the track for the future of food and food production systems.
Absolutely. Well, we define ourselves as a cluster, and it's not really a word that you can use much in the past couple of years. Cluster's a bit of a,
Right.
has different connotations. But look, when people say, well, what does FAN do? I like to say we're a collaborative ecosystem. And again, that's well and truly used as a term a lot.
Yeah.
But genuinely what we are is that group where we bring together our members with our stakeholders and be a conduit of connection.
And don't you think that should just exist basically in every region? Like there should be in New South Wales a Central West version and
in the old days, that was kind of done by governments, regional governments and all that. But as they've downsized, corporatized and all that, there's a lot of organizations picking up that, dare I say, slack. And it's not just in charities and all that, it's also in the business world.
Yeah.
And,
there's certainly, so Ben and I, I'd like to think that Food and Fibre is our big brother in terms of clusters, certainly in size, but FAN and Food and Fibre were funded by FEAL a few years ago, and we were one of the original clusters to receive funding. So we're certainly the more mature clusters, if you will, but there's quite a few more that have emerged over the past couple of years, and it's great for us to be able to come together at events like this and share learnings and insights on what we do and how we do it.
So what's been your experience here at Food Pro?
It's been a really interesting experience. So we were invited to come along by the Danish Trade Council, both of us. So who we've developed a bit of a collaborative relationship with over the past 12 months, I suppose, after being requested by the EU to contribute to some discussions around international trade and regional
looking
trade.
at the and does that take in the EU free trade negotiations?
There wasn't a specific focus on that.
Right,
it was more around just a meet and greet and get to know what everybody's
like actually getting together and having a discussion.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and so from there, we've developed this relationship, and the Danes are phenomenal from a technology perspective and a sustainability perspective.
Absolutely.
And we hold great relationships with the Dutch equivalent as well.
Yeah.
And so we're invited along today to come and meet with some of their businesses, but also to be on their stand and meet some different stakeholders and discuss collaborative projects that put some of those leading Danish technology and information service providers and consultants in front of some of our member organisations to add value. And it's probably one of the core roles of our clusters as well, is that we, like Nicole mentioned, around that interfacing between stakeholders and members, we're bringing in that expertise to actually create a more sustainable, thriving industry.
It's certainly a key role of what we do, and what Ben does is, especially in our region, as I said before, the majority of our members are SMEs and incredibly passionate producers, makers, growers, who are incredibly time poor. So I guess what we offer and what we try and facilitate is connections at that grassroots. So, we connect a lot of our members with each other, with local restaurants, with local opportunities, but then increasingly through events like this, able to connect them with opportunities that they might not necessarily be exposed to because they're SMEs. So I guess that's a lot of what we're endeavouring to do is seek out bigger opportunities and make them accessible to the really passionate and innovative SMEs that are in our industry. So,
and that's really, that's sort of really visible up in your region with the development of the turbine precinct, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
So for those that don't know, turbine is...
Turbine. Look, it is a collaborative food and beverage manufacturing precinct. FAN were a key founding stakeholder and a lead submission for the MMI translation and collaboration streams. And we're very fortunate to secure streams of funding in both of those submissions, which has meant that we are a stakeholder and proponent behind a collaborative food and beverage manufacturing precinct. So things are progressing now, which is great. Change of government put a delay in a lot of projects, not just ours, but there is a new CEO that's just been appointed,
Yes.
and he'll have his feet under the desk fairly soon,
And then hopefully
we'll be able to
momentum will
absolutely,
return.
absolutely. But I think the vision behind that is really
phenomenal.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, but it's really about how an ecosystem like ours, which is that soft infrastructure, can contribute to and help build and be embedded in hard infrastructure. So the vision is to have
the region, the precinct has like education sections, and then there's an R&D section, and then I think the initial bit is going to the initial manufacturing part is a beverage,
so focus
sort of beverage line, and just that you can come in and use these things and access these services in one place. Really,
it's very helpful.
It's exciting. It's obviously a big vision and testament to the board and all of the supporters and stakeholders who've been behind the vision. In kind of getting it to where it is now. Still a lot of work to be done, obviously. But with the new CEO on board, who happens to be very embedded. He was actually one of the founders of FAN as well, but he's got a very strong manufacturing background as well. So it'll be great to see. It's exciting. It's exciting.
It'll be great to see.
It's great for us as well as an organisation. So so stay tuned.
And is there other FAN news?
Yes. So I think probably a great example of opportunities that we try and create with our members is a lot of pathway programs, and we were very successful recently in securing some state government funding from Advanced Queensland's Accelerating Female Founders program.
Oh, I like that.
Yes,
I like that.
I never would have guessed.
Fantastic team actually from that particular department to roll out our next evolution of a program that we rolled out in 2017 to 2019, which was a food and beverage pathway program. So from next year, with funding from the Advanced Queensland program and also funding from Turbine, who are coming on as a partner, we're rolling out Grow National, which will be a pathway program for startups and scale-ups. We find that, it's as I said, a program that we've run previously with great success, and we've evolved it to meet current industry demands. What we find is a lot of our smaller manufacturers have come from the markets and have got amazing products or produce and great stories, but they don't know what they don't know. And a lot of the questions and advice that we get is, how do I take this to the next level? How do I get this on the markets of a White's IGA? So with this program, we'll be running 2 phases, which is realistically a bit of a one-day boot camp for those who are looking to take it to the next level and have all of those burning questions answered. And then the next is a 10-week program, which is really scaling up, so supporting businesses scale up in that F&B space. So, and very much a place-based approach as well. So working with all of our local stakeholders and supporters, local research institutions to understand how you can tap into the local support, but then scale it to a national level. So it's quite
really
exciting.
It is very exciting.
There is a need for it. And what we want to be able to bring to it is, yes, that capability building, but also engineer a cohort that comes out of it. So that cohort will be going down to Fine Food next September under a collaborative stand and showcasing all of the amazing products and produce that we have in our part of the world. So
it's really exciting. I do love seeing these projects and programs come into play that help these remarkably talented and creative and genuine companies or tiny micro businesses, find their their business feet and scale.
And the most successful outcome of the first version that we ran was the cohort that came out of it. So we have members who connected in those first years who are still incredibly close, who still collaborate on new products and shared solutions. And so that's a key part of what we'll be curating or trying to engineer, is how to get those cohort going through and support each other.
So good. Thank you, you two. So great to have you on. And it's something we love reporting on. Regional programs and, regional, just the remarkable talents in those areas. It's sensational.
Thank you.
Enjoy the show.
Thanks for
Thank you, Kim. Nice to meet you.
And nice to meet you both. So, Nicole, Ben, thank you both for coming on. Kim, thank you. And, of course, thanks to everyone who's been listening in and catching up with these ones out of the live stream. But thanks for tuning in. Once again, we're here live on the exhibition floor at Food Pro 2023. We'll be back shortly with another informative discussion sponsored by TriMat Systems, who have asked me to read this bit out. Looking to reduce labour processes, resulting in a boost in your profits? TriMat Systems offer automation solutions that will take your productivity to the next level. Contact them today at trimat.com.